Good morning, everybody, and aloha. Welcome to Just Talking 24, page 30. First of all, I'd just like to say haole now, or happy birthday to America. Um, she's 249 years old today. Looking good, baby, looking good. And it is, as you can tell, it's 4th of July. And I just want to say, if I sound different, is because I changed all my setup. I went back to my original way of doing everything, and just worked on the adjusting levels a little, and um, seems to be working really well. And I'll see when I do the playback. But I have to start this off by saying that I made a major mistake last week, and it's from this mistake that I'm going to be talking today. And that mistake was I said that Hawaii school, one of the Hawaii schools was protesting because of the budget cuts. One of their classes were closed, and this was a Hawaiian immersion class. And told you that it's right to be closed because they were only focusing on speaking Hawaiian, and then that would be very discriminative. I forgot one really big thing that happened to us. Well, they say it was a big thing, and it is. It is. In 1978, we had what is called a con-con. Con-con is constitutional convention, and we were supposed to revise the Constitution for Hawaii, but all it was really for was the establishment, excuse me, of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. See, federal government did the Office of Indian Affairs, and the Indians all of a sudden had all of these rights because they were proven to be an indigenous people. And the great leaders that we have in Hawaii chose to follow that. Okay. And so they created the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And in the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, they also recognized the Hawaiian language as the second language or the core language of Hawaii. So in Hawaii, we have two recognized languages: Standard American English and Hawaiian, Olelo, or what we call Olelo. Unfortunately, this only goes for the state of Hawaii. No other, because of the 10th Amendment, the states they can govern themselves, but their their limitations, you know, can only be within the state itself. And it's not limitations. It's where your district ends, and that's all you get. That's your limits. But anyway, so I stand corrected. We are English and we are Hawaiian speaking. Those are the two recognized languages of Hawaii, official recognized languages. I mean, people speak their own language all over. But that got me to thinking. One thing that President Trump has asked for a lot of times, and that is that the United States Constitution be revised. And you got to remember this. This piece of paper was written in 1775, and adopted 1778 or something. But the everything's changed. The way we think, our core hasn't. The core hasn't, but the wording has. You know, then people no longer use the same words the same way, and they've shot this Constitution of ours so full of holes that it is there, but it's like a sieve. It does absolutely nothing. It holds nothing. It just flows through. And they totally changed it to what they wanted, but they haven't done it legally. You know what I mean? It's just in our attitude. Well, we've got to actually put that thing down. We've got to revise the Constitution. How are you going to do that? Okay, same. Like, I mean, this is oversimplification again, but remember me, I love to kiss, right? I like to keep it simple. And all it is just gonna have to, excuse me, I'm gonna make this a little bit louder. Okay, that's a little, no, a little bit louder, a little bit more. Testing. Okay, how's that? Oh, okay, that seems to be working. That seems to be working. That's a little bit too loud. But anyway, yeah, so what we've got to do is rewrite it. And how do you rewrite it? Start from scratch. You have to make it should be okay. You cannot let 435, legislature do it because that's not their job. You don't let the Supreme Court do it because they're so biased by conservative and um, the opposite of conservative, liberals. And then you can't have the executive do it because the executive, the president, one person. No. So we've got to keep government out of. It's really weird. It's really strange, but we have to keep government out of government. In fact, I am for keeping it even out of Americans. Um, I propose, and this don't have a chance in where, a snowball's chance in where. But my proposal is this: we get a committee off country, done in a neutral Switzerland, like we was talking about last week. They're neutral, and this committee would be in um, multiples of three, up to 21. And the reason why is the least you can do it. I mean, two little bit, three people, it's not deep enough. Too many, it becomes too complicated, and you never get nothing done. I see the cap off at about 21 people, and it has to be multiples of three because everything that's going to be put onto this constitution is going to be voted for. I mean, the major things, not every word, but every idea, every article, every law, whatever you want to call it. But everything on that constitution will be voted upon. And it has to pass by a vote of 2-1. And 2-1, if you figure it out in math, that's three. Multiples of three, easier. Um, and the people that are on this committee will be given a comprehensive test. It will be a compensated. They will be paid for this. They'll be put up. We're going to, the United States will pay for their hotels and transportation and everything. And they'll be given a time limit, okay, like, 8 months, a year. They will be paid, but we won't tell them how much until at the end. And it will be substantial. It will be substantial. And they're going to have to take a test. They're going to have to qualify to get on this committee. Not by reputation. They actually have to pass a test. Okay? And like I said, they probably won't be American. But the skills and knowledge that we're going to ask them to possess is going to be founded not only in American, but in basic human standards. Yeah, it's going to be a comprehensive type of constitution. Um, they've got the old one to look at, and then they got the new one. Okay, now, if this plan goes through, this plan has to be approved by Congress. You want to know why? It's because whatever comes out of that committee is not up to discussion. Whatever comes out of this committee is our Constitution. With this Constitution, okay, and it's not going to be easy. I realize, I say it because I keep it simple. I keep it simple for this thing up here. My processor, is I think I'm still Windows 7 or even before that. whatever, Macintosh maybe, the original Macs. But yeah, so I keep it very simple. But with this Constitution, okay, there will be a huge book called the appendix. And that's the more important one, because the appendix will establish the intent and purpose. Excuse me about that. But the intent and purpose of each article in there, and why it was put in there, and what's the meaning of it. And if a challenge was ever made on the constitutionality, they go to the appendix. Does your argument, if it's addressed by the appendix, does the appendix, back up your argument or not? And that's what the Supreme Court will decide on. Not, see, right now, the way it is we expect men of this century to figure out what men 3 centuries ago we're thinking about, or 2.5 centuries ago we're thinking about. Yeah, we don't have the same lifestyle. And the Constitution is a living, breathing thing. So if you start from a more comprehensive one and you make the changes to the appendix, not to the Constitution, okay, and we can make it that you can change the Constitution by an amendment, but that has to be, passed by maybe 80% of Congress. But make the appendix, you can change that by maybe a simple 75% or 70%. Well, now it's a 66%. Okay, keep it 66 or go down to 60%. But we can change the appendix, but we can't change the Constitution. I have I'll give you an example. The freedom of speech. To me, what is speech? Speech is auditory communication. Really simple. I mean, that's what speech is. Freedom of speech. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say we're a democracy, right? Well, nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have freedom of expression. It's the Supreme Court that said, no. Speech means expression. And if a person wants to burn the flag of this great nation, he's allowed to, because that's his way of expressing himself. But if you want to take that a step further, my beating that guy with a stick is my way of my expression. Oh, but you're causing physical harm. Well, he's causing me emotional harm. He's causing me psychological harm, which is even greater, because those bruises and those cuts never heal. Psychological damage is far more destroying than physical damage. Physical damage, when the bruises heal, a lot of times the lesson healed. Or maybe you got the lesson, and then you remember the bruising, but you get into somebody's mind, you can scar them for life, really, for life. That's why these guys that these pedophiles, yeah, they scarred for life. We scar them for life. But see, we cannot scar them mentally. Yeah, but we can scar them physically. In other words, incarceration. I am very conservative. I found out I'm very conservative. But that's why you got to draw lines in the sand, and the lines, they're not even drawing a line. They're not even holding the sand anymore. They let it slip right through their fingers. President Trump, he's trying. Brother is trying, but look what he's going up against. This kind of mentality. You see, the mental part, not the physical part. It's the mental part. That's what's hurting him. They just passed the big, beautiful bill. I have yet to read it. I didn't read, but I looked at one of the drafts, and it's almost 900 pages long. And so it's going to take me a while to read it and digest it. But because we're in a democratic state, there's our governor saying that, that the people in Ever Beach are going to be affected, but multimillionaires are not going to be effective. But yet he don't tell people he's worth some coin too. Well, let me tell you, Josh Green has padded his pockets from being a governor. I mean, stop it. But that's what they love to do. They love to, and I'm talking Democrats. They love to point fingers. They love to redirect, but they don't tell you the truth, the whole truth. Yeah, it's going to affect, some other people. Medicaid, and also the welfare, Social Security. And you know why? All the government is saying is, hey, if you got kids that are over 14 years old, they can, they can kind of take care of themselves. You got to go back to work. You got to be a productive part of society. What's wrong with that? Really, what is wrong with being a productive part of society? No, they just rather stay home and suck the people dry. The food stamps. And you've been in line. I've been in line at Sam's Club on Food Stamps Day, and you see these people with trucks. They don't have wagons. They get the trucks, and they get stuff on top, stuff that I can't afford to buy. Bring out their card because they got like $4,000 on their card, or whatever whatever ridiculous amount the state gives them. But yeah, and I tell them, why is this so crowded? And the girl goes, oh, today is stamp day. That's what they call it. Food stamps, that's the day that you get the amount put onto your card. And these people buy, I can't afford to eat like that. That's why I blame my parents. It's all their fault that they taught me to be self-sufficient, to stand on my own 2 feet, to, have have the values that I have. It's all their fault. It's not my fault. It's all their fault. We couldn't be Section 8s or whatever you call that. I mean, I can see Section 8, yeah, if you're down and out, but if you can do it, you should do it on your own. I don't see if a woman has 5 children from 5 different men, and now one of them is contributing to the welfare of the family, which is very prevalent all over, that we should reward that by giving her more money, giving her more benefits, giving her free this, free this, free this, free this. That's what the Democrats want. They want you so dependent upon them that you can give them their vote, they're going to stay in office. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happened. You don't want to hear it, you gotta. Because you see it, why you don't do it. And so with this big, beautiful bill, they claim that there's going to be $3 trillion in spending. But what they don't tell you is that the $3 trillion in spending is going to be until 2034, which is in 10 years. Okay? Biden, Obama, they did $3 trillion in 1 year. Look at Biden's great stimulus bill, right? Originally, it was sold as every man, woman, and child in America is going to get $2,000. Okay, great. Every man, woman, and child, legal, man, woman, and child. Okay, I got to put that word in. But every man, woman, and child legally in America, just do the math, 340 or 330 at that time, 330 million people times 2,000 comes out to $660 billion, which is, that's a sizable amount, $660 billion, right? So how come Biden's bill was $1.2 trillion, which is double that? We never get 4,000 apiece. I didn't even get 2,000. I think the most anybody got was 1,400, which is 2/3 of that 2,000. You know what I mean? So from that 1.2 trillion, only 400, and if everybody, and not everybody got $1,400. The more money you made, the less you got. So say everybody, every man, woman, and children got the $1,400. Okay, you do the math, right? That comes out to, instead of 660 billion, comes out to about 420 billion. So 420 billion from 1.2 trillion. What happened to the 7-point-something trillion dollars that's supposed to have gone to the stimulus? You see, if you do the numbers and you think of the numbers, people, they're blown away by numbers, but it's simple math. Okay? So when they say we're going to do that, and so Biden, that's just one bill, folks. One bill. Okay? Yeah. 700, almost $750 billion just on one bill. Now, President Trump is going to go 3 point something trillion, which is almost 5 times that, but over 10 years, not just one bill. Oh, it's one bill, but it's for 10 years. But yeah, that's my mistake. My mistake. So I want to do this con thing. And the thing is going to be rewritten, and a appendix comes out, and it's passed by the committee. And I told you, totally as unbiased as you possibly can get. And so that's the only way you're going to do that is international. And like I said, their qualifications not going to be toilet paper. Their qualifications, they actually going to have to earn it. They got to pass the test. And they'll get compensated. They will be compensated. It's not going to be 750 an hour. It will be compensation. But see, when you're of that quality, and I don't care what profession you're in, I don't care what you do for a living, when I want an intellectual quality that high, and the people from the different nations are applying to do this, you're gonna find more. They're not in it for the money. They're in it for actually what it's supposed to be for, to make this nation a little better, hopefully, or screw it up totally. But that's why you get that 2-to-1. That's the checks and balance, right? Yeah. I mean, if they want to get together and bring America down, fine, they'll do it. But you've got to get a 2-to-1, 2-to-1, the kind. And you'll be able to tell. I mean, we will be keeping tabs on them, and you can tell if, okay, are they really trying to make America better, or are they trying to destroy us? If they're trying to destroy us, then you just forgo it. But we've got to start someplace. That's all I'm saying. We've got to start somewhere. Every trek, every trip, every voyage, every journey has to start with yet one step. And we've got to do it. And we've got to do it before it's too late, folks. We've got to do it before it's too late. And yet people won't. Why? Fear. They're scared. All different types of fear. One of the main one is the controlling power is going to lose control. That's a big fear. You tell them they got to give up control. Oof, baby, you get better chance taking a bear's cubs away from its mother. Yeah, they will not give control. They will try and destroy you, and to keep their control. President Trump, he better watch out because he put him a really big target on his back. And but to me he's doing all right. Like I said, I've said it many times before, and I'll keep saying, I don't know the man, really. I kind of know what he's doing, and I see what he's doing, and I like what he's doing. But him as a man, he comes from a privileged. Okay, granted, he comes from a privileged life. I mean, he got money, but that's not his fault. Blame the father. Father was in real estate. He got into real estate. He made his money through real estate. He made so much money that nobody can tell him what to do in real estate. But it's not his fault. That's where he's from. And until you walk a mile in his shoe, or even one step in his shoe, you don't know how he feels. But you got to see what he's doing. And he doesn't have the time, nor should he have to explain to you what he's doing. Only to the dummies that are protesting. He's got to explain to them, and even and no sense because they don't listen anyway. You see, the majority of people that understand what he's doing and we're backing him up, we kind of figure out what he's doing. We kind of go along with it. It's these guys that are protesting that even if you whack them over the head with a stick, they don't understand. They won't. And this local radio commentator. His name was Larry Price. We call him the coach. Very smart man, but he would say that 10% of the people don't get it at all. Coach, sorry, but I think the percentage has gone a little bit higher than 10. Stupid is as stupid does, man. A forest moment. So, so like I said, it's not gonna be based on your toilet paper. It's gonna be based on what you do. You're gonna have to actually pass a test. But like I said, people of that quality, I hope, I really do. I hope that I know human nature enough in the world that they're going to do it out of the goodness that they want to make this country better, and they will apply for it because of that, and not to destroy the country. And like I said, when it gets finally drafted and passed and presented, it becomes the new Constitution of the United States. It doesn't go up for a vote. Okay, constitutional amendments have to go up for a vote, but because this commission was originally made by a vote, that's all the right they need. That's why getting this commission together, getting these people to say, we need the Constitution rewritten, even that's going to be a major fight. But that's what you can do. Once it passes out of Congress, that's it. Can't go back. And I think they really gotta Congress. If you say I don't want it, I don't want it done, you better have a really damn good reason why. And you cannot say because it's fine the way it is, because we all know that's bullshit. Sorry, BS. It's not. It's not fine, folks. We are not fine, and we know that. We see it all over the place, and it's got to be changed. We gotta. They're doing patch-ups, patchwork. Patchwork only lasts a little while. The Band-Aid falls off. Band-Aid fixes. Yep. My hospital used to do that all the time, Band-Aid fixes. And I used to tell them, don't do Band-Aid fixes, do permanent fix. Band-Aid falls off. Suture the damn thing. Let it heal. But, and they're in medical and they don't figure it out because they can't figure out the suture procedure. They don't know how. So they'll put just a Band-Aid on it. Hopefully it'll go away. Hopefully it'll heal itself. Well, troubles don't heal themselves normally. But yeah, that's my spiel for today. It started with a mistake. Yes, the Hawaiian language is an official language of Hawaii, thanks to our great Con in 78. Con, yeah. But the jurisdiction, that's what it is. Area of jurisdiction. See, my mind, I get brain farts and I run out of these. But yeah, area of jurisdiction is only Hawaii. And what's that, 3 miles out? Yeah. And that's as far as the laws go. But that's one of the things we got to do. It's one of the things we got to throw around. And got to do more than throw it around. We got to start doing some action. And we cannot rely on only President Trump. We've got to bring it up. I'd like to know who I talk to. Maybe I'll drop an email to President Trump and see what happens. But yeah, maybe I'll draft it. I'll draft the proposal and I'll mail it to him. Instead of just talking about it, actually do something and see what happens. But I just want to say, once again, haole lahanau, or happy birthday, America. I love you, and I really want you to do good. And I want that Star-Spangled Banner to fly for a long, long time. And well, we've come to the end, folks. Fast, yeah. Yep. And I just want to say to all of you, have a great week. Enjoy. Well, this is a short week. Today is July the 4th. That's why I said happy birthday. But I just want to tell you all, ahuiho, malama pono, and always, aloha. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.